Hi everyone, welcome back to Strike Gunpla. Okay, this is the video that I promised everyone on the 1/144 Millennium Falcon, the Force Awakens. Okay, this video will give an explanation on how I do my painting, weathering, and some of the diorama stuff, and of course a bit of the water diorama. That will be an individual tutorial video. Okay, and let's get started. I designed this diorama with a Millennium Falcon landed on Takodana beside the lake. If you can see closely, here is Rey and Han Solo. Okay, they are looking out towards the lake while Han Solo passed her a pistol. Okay, so I did this. It took me around 3 months to come out with this diorama, and of course the Millennium Falcon itself. Okay, most of the stuff are handmade. Okay, but I can't get the actual Takodana design, so I just made up some of the simple landscape. I'm not so a professional like Luke Towan and other modelers, but I just want to make something out for this Millennium Falcon. I bought this kit first, then after I constructed this kit, I came out with the diorama, because I really want to display it somewhere, and not just the kit itself, because the kit comes with the 4 little figures, of course with the droid also, but I do not want to paint the small little droids. Okay, so apparently let's go straight to the Millennium Falcon. This Millennium Falcon is a 1/44 Bandai kit. It is very the fitting are very good, especially the details. They are so perfect. Okay, the details are very precise. Okay, as you can see while I zoom in, okay, the details are all very precise, very tiny, but according to specs. You look at my hand on the kit itself. Okay, the details are so well defined that I can guarantee you should get one. Okay, regardless of which version. If you really like Millennium Falcon. So the first thing that I've done is I paint a base coat of the gray itself. Anyway, Millennium Falcon is gray, so I did some mixture on the gray. I used the E7B16 light gray warm, ratio 1:4, E7 XL-04 gloss white. Of course, I mix the gray and the white first. Then I come out with another bottle and pour 1:4 ratio, 1 gray, 4 white. So you come out with this gray color that is suitable for Millennium Falcon. Okay, and after the gray airbrushing for the base coat, okay, then I will start to all these paints, right? A bit beige, cream, and another bluish gray. I use acrylics. I just hand brush. Okay, it's easier to hand brush this stuff. Okay, you see all these cream, light blue, cream. All these are hand painted. Okay, it's very simple. Same for this part, the brown. Okay, very simple, hand painted. Okay, then after that, after you have done most of your painting, okay, once you have done most of your painting, you start with a matte top coat, a matte top coat over everything. Okay, of course you must mask the transparent stuff. Okay, the windscreen and stuff. Then a matte top coat and you can start your weathering. Okay, the first thing I do is the overall color texture. Okay. I use the enamel paints. Okay, use enamel paints. I dot black, brown, yellow, and a little bit, and a blue also, random dots over the Millennium Falcon. Then after that, I use the enamel thinner and start brushing to give a so-called rough texture, because Millennium Falcon shouldn't be that clean, right? If you paint all gray, right, it will be a bit too clean. It should be weathered. It's a very old, fastest spaceship in the universe by Han Solo and Chewbacca. Okay, so it has to be weathered. Down the color, although the gray will still stand there. If you look at the gray, right, it's not really gray compared to the picture I put on the left. Okay, and after that, after you do the washing, I will show the weathering techniques on another video also, weathering video. Okay, to give you all a in-depth tutorial for beginners, of course. I'm not a pro. I'm just sharing all these techniques to beginners who want to paint their Millennium Falcon. It's not difficult. Okay? It is not really difficult. You don't have to be very pro. Sometimes you need a bit of logic sense. Okay? You need to know where the weathering should be. Like for example, return to this. Okay, the thrusters or these ventilations behind, right, is darker in color, which is correct. Okay, all this dark color, I airbrush with the Citadel Nylon oil, because nylon oil acrylic is a very thin wash, dark in color. If you put in the airbrush, you just slowly spray, you give a translucent effect. Okay, very translucent, but do it slowly. Okay, do it very slowly, so that you don't. If you do it too fast, it becomes too dark. So you do it slowly, light and light. If you feel you need it darker, you just airbrush again. Okay, and also you can, if you do not have an airbrush, it's fine. You can buy a portable airbrush. Okay, I will. The photo is right here. Okay. And I will set up a link also, and also a video to show you what is a portable airbrush, and of course it will be a video on airbrushing equipment. Okay, that will be on another video, but just see the picture on the right top corner. Okay, I will put description, put the link in my description also on where to buy this portable airbrush. Okay, so and I also use a nylon oil on these pipings. Okay, let me zoom nearer. All this piping itself. Of course, yeah, it has to be dark, definitely, correct. And of course, some weathering downwards. It's also a bit of nylon oil here. Okay. So, and for all this streaking, we call this streaking. Okay, these are done using AK weathering pencils. Very easy to use. Okay, AK weathering pencils. It's not really difficult. It's very easy to use. The pencils, it's just like you use like a color pencil. You just color the part that you want to have that weathering effects, right? Then after that, you use a brush and just a wet brush using water, and just draw it downwards, or using a cotton bud with water, right? Damp, not wet, not very wet, damp, and just stroke it down. So, and you get all these streaking effect. Okay. Same goes for this part. Yeah, it's clear. Right, all this streaking effect. It's very easy. It's not difficult. Okay. You can go to the AK Interactive website. You'll see a lot of information there. And for AK stuff, I bought it from MOD shop. Okay, MOD shop has most of the diorama tools and equipment and material for you to construct a diorama. Okay, so you look at this piece, most of all these, right, some of the stuff I also use enamel paints. Okay, I will draw the enamel paints here, okay, on this part. Then I will use a brush dip with enamel thinner and just wash it down. So once you wash it down, right, it will goes into the let me make a clear picture. Yeah, all these pipe, the inner pipes. Okay, because once you have a wash, right, you drip it in. Because normally pipes, right, if there's rain or whatever, right, when there's water residue, it will all sit to the underneath of the pipe, so it will look darker. Okay, so this is relatively how I do my Millennium Falcon weathering. That's why I say it's not difficult. You just base paint, hand paint, MAC coat, start your weathering, wash, then all the weathering streaking. It takes time, definitely. But if you love this kit, you can do it. Okay, you must remember, always buy something that you like and not something that you see very nice but you don't like the kit. Although the person who made the kit, right, make it look so nice that appeals to you, but you still don't like the kit. Okay, if you like a Millennium Falcon, buy the Millennium Falcon and work on the Millennium Falcon because you love the Millennium Falcon, right? So that is how we should so-called buy model kits. We shouldn't just keep spending and spending and spending and keep it in the storeroom and don't do anything. Okay, so for this guy, right, once I buy it, I start ASAP. Okay, so actually for this diorama, right, it's not fixed. It's not fixed. I can leave it up. Okay, let me lift up a bit. Okay, this diorama is not fixed. It's like that, right? So I put the Millennium Falcon one side. So this is my diorama. Of course, before we set the land area, we have to. I use the styrofoam. Then I place my Millennium Falcon on top of the styrofoam, and I mark the legs. Okay, because it cannot be uneven for the legs. So I mark the legs. Then I start to use a torch to make a curvy gradient on all the parts surrounding the Millennium Falcon. So that's why you see the ground is not level. Let me change the perspective of this camera. Okay, so if you look at this perspective, right? Okay, the ground is not really even. Okay, I put the pencil here. The ground is not really even, very even. You see there's gaps underneath here. So there's never a terrain that's so goddamn flat. So we have to do something, okay, to make it uneven, to make it curvy. So once you use a torch, you just randomly blow the torch to make it slightly uneven, not too much. If not, you have a so-called a hole. But of course, we can repair that. We just put in more of the so-called a kind of putty paste to level it. Okay. So after you get your gradient, you top with a wall putty. Okay, where you can buy from any hardware store. Okay, top with wall putty, even so-called give a smooth gradient. Okay, once you have your wall putty up, okay, you start with an acrylic paint onto the diorama. So after with the acrylic paint onto the diorama, the acrylic paint I use a earth color, okay, and the paint will give a thin membrane to protect from any alcohol based material from so-called eating away the foam, the styrofoam that you use. It depends what kind of styrofoam. There's a lot of styrofoam that you can use. Don't use the soft one, use the hard one. Okay, and you put a coat of acrylic paint. Don't need to dilute with water. Just squeeze it down and just paint it through. Okay, once you paint it through with earth color, then you will start so-called applying the sand texture. Okay, I bought a lot of fine sand and some slightly rougher sand. I mix with it and I pour it on top of the diorama. Of course, you need to have a MOD-PODGE. MOD-PODGE is a kind of similar to wood glue, those white wood glue. Okay, you apply the MOD-PODGE onto the diorama. You can't apply everything. You do it slowly, part by part, because it's very big. Okay, because if you apply and it dries out, you can't hold on to the sand itself. Okay, so once you put your MOD-PODGE, sprinkle the sand over, make it slightly thicker, then start to press it down a bit, then turn over and so-called sweep away the loose sand onto a tray. You put the tray underneath. Okay, put a tray underneath, then the loose sand, and after that you can use a combination of, you have to use alcohol first, isopropyl alcohol on top, spray on top, then follow by spraying the Scenic cement. Okay, the Scenic cement, there's a mixture. I will put it in my description below. Okay, you need to have alcohol first before Scenic cement, because the alcohol will help to allow the so-called the sand or soil to absorb the Scenic cement. So you have to do that. If you just spray Scenic cement, right, it doesn't absorb. So you need to do that. Okay, after that one is done, you leave it for a day to dry off and it will harden. Okay, you see, it's hardened. Okay, once it's hardened, you can start all your plants and scrubs and everything. Okay, all these scrubs and some a bit of static grass, the little stones, the small little greenish scrubs, light green scrubs, all are from Woolen Scenics. Okay, you can buy Woolen Scenic stuff from Upfriend. Okay, Upfriend is a art, very old, very big art shop in Singapore. There's one in Plaza, there's one in Clementi, and there's one in Plaza Singapura. So it's up to you where you want to get your stuff from. And after you're done with all the plants and stuff, right, and if you look downwards, okay, I also have some some of like a kind of moss. Okay, this is a bit huge. Next time I will use a smaller kind moss for the lake itself. Okay, so as for this lake, right, this lake is a kind of AB resin, resin plus hardener. So you need to mix and pour it down. Yeah, of course you need to have your put up the so-called a boundary. I use pla plates to cover this side before I pour the resin. Okay, and the color, right, is also mixed using inks. I bought inks from our friend also. So first we mix the resin. Okay, the resin plus hardener. Okay, then followed by putting just one drop, okay, one small drop. Don't put too much first, do it slowly. As you mix the resin, right, you can use this ink from our friend. Then as you mix your resin, they will start to gain the color. If you feel that it's too light, you just put another drop. Use a stick, just dab it in and just stir. You keep stirring until the color you want. Anyway, you need to stir quite a significant time for the resin and highlighter to mix together. If you don't mix together, right, this whole thing will become soft and you not harden. Okay, so once you're done your mixing, slowly pour the mixture into the so-called the boundary section here, okay, until the level that you want. Okay, after that, the mixing will start to have bubbles. That one very easy. Get the blowtorch. Okay, get the blowtorch and just slowly blow, and the bubble will disappear. Okay, you'll just blow off the bubble, but make sure you don't burn all your moss. Okay, slowly blow. Okay, once it's done, maybe 1 hour later, come back again and see whether there are bubbles. There are more bubbles. Then you do it again every hour. Okay, every hour. Of course, if you need to sleep, just do it. I only do it for the first hour, second hour. That's all. Of course, when I pour it in, you see bubbles. You just do it once, 1 hour, second time, second hour, third time. Just 3 times. That's all. Okay. Once it's done, right, then you start to do all these ripples. These ripples is very easy. You still use MOD-PODGE gloss version. Use a brush and just dab until you see the ripples that you want. Okay. Of course, you need to make sure your ripples are in the same direction, because, for example, when the wind blows into the lake, right, then the wave, there will be small little waves, ripples, right. So you need the right direction. Okay. Once that's done, then you have to do some of these whitewash. Okay. These are the so-called the foam where the water hit the banks of the so-called the land, right? The banks of land, and they will repel and they will become a kind of white foam, bubble foam. So this one also very easy. There's a lot of ways to do it. Some people use woolen Scenic snow material to mix with MOD-PODGE and just dab it through, and some use cotton. So for me, I try a few stuff. This part I use the woolen Scenic snow, okay, and this part I use cotton. I just drag the cotton wool, then dab the MOD-PODGE onto cotton wool downwards, okay, so that you can see the white texture. It may not be. I find that the cotton wool is not very realistic. It's only good for those big waves. Then if you use cotton wool, it should be fine. But it's a combination, because this is a bit miniature. So if you work on a 160 Gundam perfect grade, then you put a ocean. You can use the cotton wool for the big waves. Then the top part you use the snow material from woolen Scenics, because that is kind of wash, like a wave wash, right? So you can use both. Okay. So water is not easy. Okay. And once you pour the resin, right, you need at least 24 hours to 48 hours to cure. But for me, I leave it for 5 days, and I will use something to cover so that dust will not settle on the resin itself. So I leave it for 5 days. You need to have more patience for this kind of water effect. I will have a video for this, no problem. I definitely must do something to show you all. Okay. So another element is this, the mini figures. These are painted using acrylic paints is very small lah, so you can't really see it clearly. Okay, you see it's so small until my camera can't even focus. Okay, it's very small. If you talk about 1/144, you should know the size of the so-called the figures. So of course I have my so-called magnifier and I just hand paint these minifigures. I have a lot of acrylics also. I tried acrylics before, but acrylics is not really good for airbrushing. So do take note. Be careful when using acrylic because it will kill your airbrush. Okay, lacquers are still the best, although it's very smelly. Although acrylics are water-based, but it will kill your airbrush. So either way, there's a technique to use acrylics on airbrush and or lacquer on airbrush. Okay, so this is all that I can say for my Millennium Falcon and my diorama. Okay, it took me at least 3 months. Of course, I have some experience in doing it. For beginners, right, it's okay if you take longer than that, it's fine. Okay, you want something nice, you need patience and time to do it. Okay, it's a fantastic piece. Okay, so I will recommend you to buy this. Very fantastic piece, very detailed. The X-wing and stuff is up to you, but I find the Millennium Falcon is nicer. Okay, and you will know what kind of diorama to go with. Okay, you can do the diorama in the desert where Rey was where Rey grows up in. Okay, you can do that. Maybe one day I'll do that. But I need to find the desert sand. That was very fine sand. Okay, so do feel free to try. Do not worry. Okay, you can repair anything because anyway it's weathering. It's not gloss airbrushing. It's not a gloss kit like the cars or motorcycles. Forget all those. You can start with weathering. Some people are very good in weathering, that means dirty look, and some people are very good in gloss. Okay, but gloss really takes a lot more time than weathering. Weathering is a kind of like part and parcel of life. Okay, where things will start to grow old and weathered down. So sometimes you need to Google and get more pictures to know how you're going to apply the weathering. Okay, so do more research. Okay, before you start weathering, you can start the painting process first. Okay, you can airbrush the thing. Okay, do the painting. Okay, once you're done that, settle down, take a rest, surf the net. Get some photographs of Millennium Falcon. There are people who done that, or you go to your the Star Wars movie, the videos, and you just screen through, refresh your mind how to do weathering. Okay, for the Millennium Falcon. Okay, so that's all for today. Okay, do help to like and subscribe to my channel Strike Gun Blah, and click the notification bell. Okay, if you like my video, do help to share to your friends. These are just videos for sharing, not really teaching. Okay, it's for sharing to so-called beginners who really want to get their kits painted. Okay, so thank you very much, guys. I'll see you again in more of my tutorial videos, which will be linked to this kit. Hopefully I get another one. Okay, let's see how. Thank you very much. Goodbye. Okay, this is the M Workshop's Facebook page. M Workshop is a local Singapore hobby shop that sells all the model kit tools and diorama materials. They are located at Sunshine Plaza at Bencoolen Street, just opposite NAFA Fine Arts. So do feel free to drop by and visit M Workshop and his boss Bernard, and he'll give you some advice. Thank you very much.